I make this joke all the time, but people are more concerned with men playing with balls than what's actually happening in real time. And everybody is a little bit distracted. And you know what? I was one of them. That's why I can say that, boldly.
Sure.
I was blinded.
Right, same here.
I was consumed with something else that was not irrelevant, but it was something that I enjoyed. And everybody, deserves to have things they enjoy. If you enjoy watching football, then watch it. If you enjoy watching baseball, whatever it is you enjoy. But don't be unaware of what's happening around you.
Right.
Don't have your face.
Don't allow it to distract you to the level that you're not aware of what's going on in the world around you that can genuinely affect you and your family.
Absolutely. One of the analogies I love to use is people are watching so closely, they have their face pushed so close to the screen that all they see are pixels and they don't see the big picture.
Right.
And
that's a great analogy.
Thank you. I've stepped back from the screen, and I see the big picture, man. There's lines going in directions I do not like, which is why we do this show. Hopefully somebody out there, even one or two people that gets enlightened, then you two go on to enlighten 3 others.
Right.
And those people go on to enlighten more. And before you know it, we have a better world.
Right.
And that is the aim of why I am enjoying doing this show with you.
The ultimate goal of the show altogether. Early on when I first started this thing, I made it perfectly clear that I'm not trying to. This has nothing to do with an effort to become a major media operation where we're making a ton of money. I don't care if we never make a dime off of the show. It's not the point. That little bit of money that we do make from the sponsors goes right back into the show to support actually being able to broadcast.
Yeah, airtime.
That's all it is. So that's not the goal. The goal is to really, it's like I was having a discussion with my wife, and I was explaining to her that the whole purpose of this thing is really just to help the world, and help the world not only in the hippie sense, although honestly it is.
Love, man.
Honestly it is. I love my fellow man, and I do want to see us survive and not only survive but thrive. It's all done in love. The entire purpose of this show is out of love.
Why is it that libertarians tend to care about people so much more than the other stereotypical parties?
Right. I don't know. That's an excellent question. I personally don't know. But we do. We do. That's there's no denying that.
What comes to mind is like you walk on a guy's property and he aims a rifle at you. What are you doing here? You're trespassing. Sir, I'm hurt. Well, let's get you inside and take a look at it.
Right.
And then turns around and cures you. And this is like the image that I have of everybody that I know that's libertarian.
Right. That's absolutely right. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. But, and like I was saying, when I was explaining, what I was doing here, what the whole point of this, to a certain degree, also, it is a little bit selfish. It is a little bit self-serving. I'm willing to admit that because
nobody deserves what's mine. It's mine. I worked for it.
What I mean by that is that in helping my fellow man and in showing love to my fellow man, I'm also ensuring the safety and the well-being of my own family because I'm looking out for my neighbor. And in return, hopefully, the idea is because I showed love to my neighbor that my neighbor will in turn show love to me when, God forbid, the worst happens.
I just want to be a cop and beat people down. No, that goes.
Well, you've got the muscles for it.
That goes for. No, I don't want to do that at all. I love people. Right. You don't need to do that unless it's absolutely necessary, which is one of the bad things that we're going through in the United States right now is getting everybody on the same page with not being abusive of their powers. However, if you're going to give somebody too much power, this is what happens. Everybody needs checks and balances. So anyway, back to the topic. Were we on Ebola?
We were on Ebola, and then we segued into, I think, probably 5 different topics after that. So we're going to move on to another article.
My previous addiction with fluoride?
No, Joan Rivers.
Oh God, no!
Absolutely
we're not doing that.
Absolutely not.
I'm out of here.
What else do we have here? Let's see. Fake links to nude celebrities breaks New Zealand internet.
Hey, fake links. Who cares?
Yeah, I couldn't care less.
Well, I like that Viking ring fortress discovered in Denmark.
Actually,
however, that has nothing to do with anything.
Here. Was that Viking ring fortress discovered in Denmark? That's cool.
It is cool, but that's not very much on our line of topic.
I'm not really seeing much in the way of...
There's nothing happening in the world.
Yeah, I guess. Or they're not talking about it. But this is Drudge Report. I mean, okay. Amnesty after elections. Ooh, let's check that out. That seems pretty interesting. Amnesty after elections, and once again, this comes through Drudge Report.
Go,
Drudge Report, go. Right. And it's Drudge Report via the New York Times.
This topic, yes, of course, Obama's going to delay the immigration action. And this is one of the things that last show that I was telling you that the Democrats are very distraught with him, allegedly, about his delay in immigration action. And he can't do anything right now because they have to set it up for the next party to solve the problem. And so nobody can really put their points out there.
So let's see what the article says. Obama delays immigration action, yielding to Democratic concerns. Washington. President Obama will delay taking executive action on immigration until after the midterm elections, bowing to pressure from fellow Democrats who feared that acting now could doom his party's chances this fall. White House officials said on Saturday.
No, and it's exactly what it is, because you can't voice how you really feel at that moment until after everybody makes the mistake of electing you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever watched the news and they're always talking about politicians playing politics, that's a perfect example of what they're talking about right there. So it's
nothing new.
It's all just it's timing. Okay, so we know that we can't say A, B, and C because D is going on right now. So we'll wait until D is done because we don't want to piss off our base.
Do you remember when John Kerry was running and he's like, "We have a plan." But he wouldn't say what the plan is, and even reporters would go like, "Well, what is your plan? You have to vote for us, and we were going to unleash the plan, and it's going to benefit the United States." But what is the plan? The plan is what we have for the people of the United States of America. You've already said that before, sir.
What specifically is the plan?
The plan is what we're going to do, and so you can't actually say what you're going to do until after you're elected, because then you're in for the 4 years. Nobody's going to get impeached. It just doesn't happen anymore because the American people don't care enough. There's so few of us that care that I don't think anybody's ever going to be impeached ever unless there's like a revival or an awakening of the intellect to the American people. We're very divided at this point.
We are very divided. However, like I've said several times throughout this episode, I do see an awakening. I'm not sure. I'm not positive that it's enough of an awakening right now.
Not yet.
But I do see it on its way. I'm hopeful for the future. Hopefully by 2016, we'll see enough of awakening that we can get a libertarian in office. If not by then hopefully by the next 4 years, God forbid. After that.
I'm scared for somebody who cares to get in office. They're going to get JFK'd.
Yeah. And
it's just my honest feelings. I can't hide it.
I couldn't agree with you more. When Ron Paul was running, on the one hand, I desperately wanted him to be in there. I definitely, I truly feel like the direction that our country would have gone at that point would have been significantly different. Obviously would have been a much happier place. But at the same time, I did genuinely fear for his life because I don't believe the powers of that be would allow that to...
You know what? And with Obama getting elected, it's a perfect example. Here was somebody who campaigned on the opposite of everything Bush, and who campaigned to bail out the people. And his first act went from bailing out the people to him apologizing, and we're going to bail out the banks instead. Now, who has money? The banks. Who gets backed by the Federal Reserve? The banks. So immediate betrayal. And I honestly, I got to give Obama the benefit of the doubt. I think once he stepped into power, he realized, I'm not in power. I have to bow down to corporate interests, Wall Street.
That is an excellent point. And ladies and gentlemen, that's my point here. I mean, I can't speak for Joseph, but that's always been my point. from the very beginning with starting this show is that understand that this is not a bash Democrat show. This is not a bash Republican show. This is bash the powers that be.
Powers that be.
Show. This is a understand that our elected officials are nothing more than puppets. They have no real power. In order to take the power away from them, we have to take the money out of politics and elect officials that have no direct connection to the power structure, to the foreign banks, to the Federal Reserve, and so on. The only way we're going to do that right now, as it stands right now, currently, let me make that perfectly clear because that's only right now. Things change in the future. But right now is to get a libertarian in office, somebody who isn't beholden to the left-right paradigm. What do you think about that?
I agree completely. I want to say that it will take revolution, and that has nothing to do with violence. That has to do with an awakening of people's ideals.
Amen.
And, as a matter of fact, don't resort to violence. That's the worst thing you could do.
No, that's what they're counting on.
Yeah, you know what? It seems like it's being brewed every time there's any kind of gun incident of any nature, how it's blown so far out of proportion. And I wish they would do that with hammers and crowbars and cars, but they don't. And there's a higher amount of people that are injured by those devices. Sure. So, there are people conspiring. And, that is one of the topics of our show is the NWO and this group of people that do conspire and do make plans and have big plans. But, not to go too far off subject.
Well, it's a Hegelian dialectic. It's, problem, reaction, solution. So they create the problem and then the people react to it. And then now magically as they come along as the messiahs and present the solution. And what's the solution? It's to clamp down, ultimate control, removal of our constitutional liberties for our own safety.
I think everybody should own a firearm personally and be trained with it, etc. That's what kept other nations from invading us all along. Japan was afraid to invade us. They're like every single bush, there'd be a person with a gun. It's impossible. You can't take over America. However, the Russians, when they were in their highly systematic control and tyranny of everything, they made a prophecy, and I can't remember the specifics of the person. I'm sure you could find it if you just search on Google. But he said that America would not be defeated from the outside. Mm-hmm. It will be defeated from the inside.
Right.
We will conquer you. We will put our people in your universities, bring them up through your politics, understand your law, and then we will destroy you from the inside.
And you're seeing it now.
Absolutely.
You're seeing it play out right now. Right now, real time.
It's scary. If I had hair on my head, it would be standing up. And so, I would like to see somebody who cares on there, and I'm kind of nervous for them because once it would be a true revolution, that person would be destroyed by everything. You would have to have a crystal clear person who has nothing.
Right. How do you feel about, I don't know if you follow him at all or have seen anything about him. How do you feel about Dr. Ben Carson?
I have not studied up on Ben Carson at all, so I have nothing to say about him.
Okay.
I like Rand Paul.
Oh, yeah, me too. I stand with Rand. However,
Rand's got chutzpah.
If you get a chance to look into, and I encourage all my listeners to look into him as well, because honestly, so far so good. Look into Dr. Ben Carson, African American gentleman, just recently retired as a neurosurgeon. He created a huge controversy about a year and a half ago, give or take, and you can find the videos online on YouTube and so on. During the White House prayer breakfast, he was invited by the Obama administration to come up and speak because he's also a minister.
Oh, wow.
So he was invited by them to come and speak during the White House prayer breakfast, and during his speech, he took the opportunity to point out the fact that, without directly saying so, that all of Obama's policies are a tyranny.
Oh, wow.
From Obamacare to the NDAA to everything on down the line.
Why would a highly educated person even state such nonsense?
and the beautiful part is now now it seems like he's potentially he's going to be a potential candidate for 2016.
Wow.
But it's great if you watch the video. You're sitting there, you're sitting and you're listening to everything that he's saying, and you look at Obama's face. And just deer in the headlights because they had no idea, they weren't expecting this. Just total egg on his face. It was the most beautiful thing I ever saw. I saw it live.
Obama's education is not as big as people think it is.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
He's not as smart as people think.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly when that happened, like I said, I saw it live. My wife and I we took a little a staycation, and we stayed at a hotel one evening just to kind of get away from the house,
Yep.
get out of the house for a little while. I had my